You have to buy this journal, just $5.99. Just cover handling and shipping, and it's yours.
Right here, 80% of the battle in this business and in life is mental. But the reality is some of us wake up sometimes and we're like, what the fuck's going on? I'm not doing anything right. Like nothing's going right. My life sucks. I hate this fucking business. I want to get out of there, right? Like, you know, that happens. But we have to get this right. So day one's all about becoming the person you need to become and shifting your identity day one to be able to intake the information through the collaboration on day two. Does that make sense? Brandon Carter is the best person I could ever imagine bringing to this mastermind to speak to you guys about discipline, hard work, and more importantly, making some baller money, all right? He's a good client of ours, one of the best clients I've ever had, and I love working with Brandon Carter. Dude, thank you so much, Brandon. Come on and give a big round of applause for Brandon Carter. PPO, baby, let's go.
You know, you become like the people you're around, and you see the people you're around having these sort of outcomes, and if you're involved in a lot of the same stuff they're involved in, it's kind of like a wake-up call. Does that make sense? You know? So I figured I needed to stop doing what I was doing and pursue something more honorable.
Was there a certain variation of content that hit for you, or did you work with someone that made the content better, or did you just do it for a while until you got better?
It's difficult to maintain consistency because you're not getting positive reinforcement. You might post something that gets no views or just fucking one comment is a hater, right? Yeah. You know, and that's normal. You just gotta really have a long-term focus with content. I mean, obviously you gotta see what's working and what's not. You know, what I don't want you to do is give up because you haven't seen the results yet, right? You probably just have to get better at it. And I'm not saying this is your case, but a lot of times the consistency is, they've been posting the whole time, but not fucking 3 videos a week. It's, I post 3 videos this month. Next month I post fucking 18. It's sporadic. Mm-hmm. That's typically what I see. It's taking people that long to start to penetrate the market.
I want to bring the next speaker up as well. The biggest thing that I wanted him to come speak to you guys about is just the way he thinks about business and just operating his life internally. His belief in himself is undeniable, but ultimately what Jeremy helped us with the most was just being able to think about getting richer. Right? And I'm excited for him to speak on this today and for him coming out here. Jeremy Haynes, thank you so much, bro. Give it up for Jeremy.
Well, which number do you choose? Because with the platforms and how they attribute the cash, what do you look at high road? Is one number at the end?
Yeah, we actually do a tool like Hyros for sure. It's also simplified versions of what we do. We'll just have a unique version of a funnel for what we send our traffic to. That's going to tag those people in a CRM. And then we can run a CRM report against tools like Hyros. We want to do what's called triangulating the truth. We don't want to have 2 different tools that are against one another. We want to have ideally 2 to 3, at least 3. So if one of them's false, the other one's kind of disagreeing with that one, we have a third that can help. So as an example, if I'm running a call funnel, it's a unique ClickFunnels or Go High Level page or some shit like that, unique Typeform, unique Calendly, those things pass unique tags into the CRM that we run. Those things don't have traffic ran to them from anything else. If they do, they count as our revenue.
What are the biggest mindset things that you learned from Grant Cardone while you're working with him?
Good question. First of all, you could do way more than what you think you can. Grant would come in so there's a 7 to 9 person creative team. I was the digital marketer. We had 2 graphic designers, 2 web developers, a copywriter, and a videographer. You know, we were a very capable team. Grant would come in and he would encourage us to do a specific big project that I'm sure most of you would think would take a month. He would tell us we had until Thursday, you know, if he came out a Tuesday, he'd be all right, you guys got 2 days to get that shit done. All of us would gripe and complain. And then Wednesday, he would come in with a whole nother one of those types of projects, and he would put that on us too. And then we'd gripe and complain even more. But then by Thursday, we probably had both done. And then we all kind of realized we could do it. You know, we just didn't think that we could. So that was one big thing. And that happened all the time with major marketing related projects. There's also just a big push to make more money all the time. I'll give you a good example. How many emails do you guys send for brands on a day-to-day basis if you manage their email marketing? For me, it was I don't know, maybe 1 a day was being too aggressive, right? Graham would tell us email 15 times a day. And then after we got to that number, he'd be bored, you know? I remember SMS texting came out. same kind of thing. Like, I'd be like, Grant, like this is different than emails. You know, like we shouldn't text people all the time. He'd be like, more, you know, like everything was always more, and it never really played against us. You know, we always had more people coming in than we did like unsubscribing and things like that. So like never really diminished the list. The accountability. I remember for the sales team, there was a wall of statistics. There were line graphs. And it was all of their individual week over week productivity for the sales revenue that they brought in. If anybody had a flat or a declining line, they would get brought in at the end of the week and then get asked, why are your statistics declining? What do you need from us in order to improve this? And they'd either say like, this is the training I need, or they'd say like, no, I got this, like, don't worry. And if they didn't turn it around by the next week, they'd probably get fired. He fired the bottom 10% of his sales team every month, bring new people in. Everybody was an A player. There's a lot of organizations I work in that think they have A players, and in reality, they're like D players that they convinced are A's. True A players are like very obvious A players. And like literally every person from like the accounting department to the sales team, the marketing team, like everybody was a true A player. I mean, it just never shut off, you know? Like the machine it's a perpetual motion machine. It's like there was no such thing as burnout in anybody who worked there or Grant himself. Yeah, I mean, I could go on, but those are a lot of the major ones that I think came to mind.
Beautiful. Okay, so the reason why day one is so important, as I already talked about before, is, you know, all the tactical stuff, we already know pretty much what we need to do, right? But the most important thing that day one is all about here at the Admin Mastermind is the mindset, thinking bigger, playing bigger, and really leveling up your standards and being in a room like this where you can challenge yourself to grow. I've had many discussions with each and every one of you after talks, and that's been the biggest thing so far, right? Now, the reason why I wanted to end it with Mark Damas specifically is because a little story, Mark and I met actually back in Sam Ovens' Mastermind in Quantum, and although we didn't talk too much then, I knew who he was because he was the person that helped Sam Ovens with his peak performance. Okay, so when Sam was in the Manhattan penthouse, who remembers Sam back when he was wearing the blue suit, right? In the Manhattan penthouse, you know, beautiful views of the city. You know, he was making a lot of money at 36 million at that time. That's when he was doing the real cash. But the problem was he was burning himself out. He would, you know, sprint for weeks, and then he would take a whole week off just to recover because of how, you know, tired he was, how burned out he was. And, you know, one of the only testimonials I've ever seen Sam give to anybody in my entire life was to Mark Dama, because of the work that Mark's helped him with. And without further ado, Mark Dama, please take the stage, Mark.
So a written agenda with this template, he gave me this template. He said, write this out in advance the day before. Don't keep it on your computer. Make sure you print it out and keep it in your pocket every day. So having it in your pocket at all times and planning out day by day, hour by hour, what you're actually doing in that time, you won't have any time to waste. You'll be focused on the things that are most important for you because you'll have thought about it the night before. Do it. I've been doing that since 2015. It's a little bit different when you write it out and you plan everything, including your free time, especially your days off. Who plans the days off? So one of my professors, a guy called Dr. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, he wrote the book Flow. Yeah, he was a huge proponent of planning your days off. Planning your days off, things that are going to fulfill you, restore you, make you your best. Because if you don't plan your days off, most entrepreneurs are probably going to be getting some work in somewhere. You're going to be like thinking about work, getting some work in, or the time just goes and you don't really use it how you do. Plan your days off the same. Well, thank you very much.
The point of a mastermind is not to learn 20, 50, 100 different things, right? It's to take away 1, 2, maybe 3 things max that you're actually going to implement when you get back home, especially as we head into the new year. It's not about doing 20 different things, changing your whole life around, doing a complete 180. Right? It's about doing 1, 2, or 3 things that will compound for you in 2024. Get the benefits from this. Don't go back to wherever you live all across the world and do fucking nothing. That's the worst thing you can do. You're here, let's have a good time. All right, day 1 is officially wrapped up. So thank you guys for being here. But ultimately, now let your brain marinate it. Okay, you wrote your one thing down. Just let it simmer. right? Just that one thing is all you have to focus on for today and for moving forward. Tomorrow we'll do the same thing. What's the one thing from day 2? Now you have 2 things. Day 3, you might have 3. Those are the only things you need to focus on in 2024.
Thanks to you, cheers to you, to us, to where we're going in 2024. The Bucket Admin Mastermind Day 1. Thank you guys for being here. Cheers.
Day two. What's up, everybody? How'd you guys sleep? You guys sleep good? The first session of today before lunch is gonna be traffic. I think that makes sense because, unless you have enough traffic to get enough leads, to get enough calls, to get enough clients, you really have no business probably hiring a team if you can't have them fulfill on anything. So we gotta solve the traffic piece first from the content side, from the ad side, and then in the second half of the day after lunch, we'll go into team. And I'll obviously have my team involved in there, and they'll be involved in the first part as well. We can talk about team and how we've built a pretty solid team so far here for the most part. And ultimately, I'm still learning as a leader. I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm not perfect, but we'll share what has worked and more importantly, what hasn't worked for us as well.
So I'm with Clients on Demand and I do my business on the side, but already with the amount of work that I have, first, I don't know what to share, which I can overcome for sure. It's not about it reason, but how do you manage building a product and working and doing content at the same time?
So the first part about that, right, is when I was working for Dean and I wished I was building my personal brand, how I would have done it back then if I could go back in time, I would have just literally been sharing what I was doing for Dean on a weekly, daily basis. So with you being with Russ Rufino, right, one of the biggest coaches in the entire high ticket coaching space, you're learning so much by working with him. And it's actually a benefit and value add to him, in my opinion, because you're also building and uplifting his brand while you're talking about what you're doing for him. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the way I would approach it would be, I would just simply share what you're working on with him on a daily basis, right? Today, I was working with Russ on this VSL because we realized leading with Done For You was attracting us the wrong clients. We've since switched back to the Done With You approach, and now the team's happier, the clients are better, we're in more control, and everything's different. The lesson here is you don't have to switch your business model completely from Done For You to Done With You, but if you're someone who's experiencing client expectation issues, it might be the way you're approaching the messaging. So keep that in mind the next time you run an ad for your offer. You see how valuable that is for somebody? And all you're doing is sharing what you're already learning with him. Does that make sense? Just listen to what Brandon said yesterday with the calendar. Just put it on your calendar. So for me, again, I mentioned yesterday, my one thing in 2024 is just writing. Mark Dama talked about needlework, right? Those 90-second sessions of needlework. Every morning, I'm blocking off 3 hours of my morning to just focus on writing. Because my highest ROI activity is writing, my daily email. My daily email becomes my YouTube video. My daily email also repurposes as my Twitter thread. My daily email also repurposes as my adspend.com free school community post. My daily email also repurposes as my YouTube community post. My daily email also repurposes as something that I would teach to my team on team training on Fridays. And as well as, my public speaking. It helps everything. So the one thing that I can do in the new year that would help the business the most, that would make everything else uneasy or unnecessary is just writing more and posting more content. So for you, I would just do it in the mornings, right? What did you do yesterday? What are the insights? What are the conversations you had? Just write it, bro.
Yeah. So the question comes like, what is the priority between creating content and creating the coaching?
Here's how I would approach it. Again, you already have your income kind of solved with Russ, right? So you're already good. Like you're building this other thing for you, and that's the best place to be in my opinion. So I would just be documenting and posting content primarily first, using the insights you're learning from Russ Rufino, and that's gonna help you build your product. I wouldn't be so hard on yourself if like I have to have the product done in like 3 months or whatever. It'll take some tweaks and iterations, but I would dedicate like at least 90 minutes of the 3 hours a day on writing and then the other 90 minutes on building the product.
How you structure your videos? Primarily intros and hooks. What would you recommend for someone looking to kind of come up with that initial outline for the YouTube video that they're posting, so it's not boring?
The title and the thumbnail are the two most important things, first and foremost. The title and the thumbnail, and then your hook is literally the title, just reworded. So in this video, I'm going to show you the top 3 Amazon products that are gonna make you the most money with your Amazon FBA store right now. The title would probably be something like top 3 products working for Amazon FBA owners right now. It's very congruent. It's very much exactly why they clicked. And then now that you've said that, you go right into you can go right into the teaching. I think that's what you do, Cameron, right?
I used to make funnels myself, so I've always been following people. Like a lot of like the case study stuff and even like breaking down other people's funnels, I think is great. And obviously you've got the option of being like, here's the top 3 elements a sales page should have, here's how it should flow, breaking down like case studies of like the BPW page and being like, here's how I created it, what the elements are on there, why it's important, and then obviously breaking down the actual funnel metrics. Because that would be the biggest thing for people. But I think even doing like audits on other people's pages and being like, here's why it's shit, here's why it doesn't flow correctly, here's why the bounce rate's high, you know, things like that.
Yeah, I think one of the easiest hacks you can do is just create a Google Doc outline of your flow. It's the same format: hook, story, close. It's the same as an ad: hook, story, close. What's the hook? All right, today I'm going to show you how to break. Today I'm going to break down Iman Ghazi's most viral YouTube ad in the last year to show you why it worked and how you can replicate it for your business too. That's the hook. The story, by the way, if you don't know, my name is Brian Moncada. I'm the founder of adspend.com. We're the most sought after advertising agency in the entire info marketing industry, specifically on YouTube ads. But that's not the point. Let's get into it right now, right? Boom. Then I go into the teaching mode, right? So it's a quick intro if they don't know me yet, or if it's a viral video, and then I go right into the teaching, education, right? You start breaking down the content. So usually it's 3 bullet points, right? And I learned this from Clark Kegley, actually, Tyler. Hook, and in the story you have 3 bullet points. Bullet point number 1, bullet point number 2, bullet point number 3, because he doesn't script any of his videos. And I personally don't like scripting them entirely either. I just do bullet points. So what's the thing I'm gonna educate them on? Or what's point number 1? What's point number 2? What's point number 3? And when I'm going through those bullet points, I'm showing my personality, I'm teaching them, and then there's the CTA, right, the close. What's the thing I want them to do next? I wanna watch another video. Hook, story, close. So what's the hook? All right, same as the title. Then, you can go into what Cameron said as well, is like the reason why this is so important for them. I would keep it to like less than 30 seconds max before you get into teaching. Like 30 seconds is the cutoff of the intro, then you go right into education, which is a story. And then once you're done with bullet point number 3, however long that takes, transition to the close. What's the next thing you want them to do? Watch this video next. But yeah, like Billy said, you have a cheat sheet right there. You're just breaking down funnels, bro. That's your thing. That's a huge series for you. Funnel breakdowns, and you can literally just show all your case studies, dude.
That's what I'll do.